Hello, friends. It's Jaden, the Bait Debate, head editor and producer. I just wanted to let you guys know that the podcast should be coming out every other Wednesday, as Lori and Jocelyn forgot to mention that in this week's episode. Once again, it should be coming out every other Wednesday, so mark your calendar. I hope you guys enjoy the show.
Hi, I'm Lori Coates. I am a behavior analyst and school psychologist for Davis School District and co-coordinator of the BAIT team.
I'm Jocelyn Ruiz, BCBA and co-coordinator of the BAIT team, and this is our next episode of BAIT Debate Topics We're Tackling. BAIT Debate will address simple research-based behavioral practices that will work with individual students and groups of students in school settings. The situations and questions will be adapted from what we are hearing and seeing in schools. These are common struggles with students of all abilities. Although they are simple strategies, they will be effective at decreasing challenging behavior and making your day just a little easier. We're excited to share these strategies to make them available to SPED teachers, gen ed teachers, and other staff working in schools. Don't forget to submit your questions to us at our email, which is baitdebatepodcast@gmail.com. And also don't forget to check us out on Instagram and TikTok at behavior_in_progress. At behavior_in_progress. All right. So last episode, we had a conversation about feeling exasperated and exhausted and what we as educators can do to help us get through those tough times. Did you have any experiences recently, Lori, where this was critical, and what can you share about what you learned?
Yeah, just last week, actually. I met with a team who's worked with a student for a few years, and the behaviors have been disruptive for a few years. He's a fourth grader. And this year, it seems to have moved past the disruption to some aggression, some pushing and shoving, and some of that. And as I was talking with the team, I really felt their exhaustion. They continued to point out the challenges, even when I tried to refocus, and I think I talked about this last time, on what do you like about him? I tried to refocus to that, and it was like they needed me to hear all the difficult things. There was a noise outside the office even, and they said, see, that's him. And I was like, oh, you guys, okay. So when I finally said to them, I believe you. I believe that these challenges have exhausted you, and I'll be out to observe next week. They all of a sudden got calm. And I was like, sometimes when they're exasperated and exhausted, they just need to know someone believes what's going on.
Yeah.
How about you? Do you have experience with it?
Now that you mentioned that, I have two experiences to share. The first kind of is the same as you. We had a teacher who, we're working with a student there who's just kind of okay not doing anything, just sitting in his chair. But then there was one day where there was a big behavior, and it seemed like the teacher was like, yes, like, you guys see what I've been experiencing. And so, yeah, it was an opportunity for us to validate what she had been experiencing, and, yeah, just knowing that somebody saw the hard stuff that she was experiencing. But then my other story I wanted to share was with our RBTs, our registered behavior technicians. We have one of our RBTs who was feeling a little under the weather with the sun not being out and the rain and all of those things. And at one point she was asking or questioning whether she was good for this job.
And she's amazing.
She's amazing.
Yes.
Yes. And we were like, what? Wait, what? No. But we found out that she recruited one of our other RBTs, and they're sending each other positive affirmations every day about the good things that they do, and that's been helping both of them. It's kind of been a little bit of a challenge for them to find something to share with each other, but it's been good for them, and
it's finding that trusted person again, right?
Yeah,
that's awesome. So what's our topic for today, Jocelyn?
Today, we are going to be talking about relinquishing reinforcement. A few episodes ago, we talked about reinforcement riddles and making reinforcement more effective. This time, we're going to turn the tables a little bit and talk about What happens when reinforcement is too reinforcing?
And kids don't want to give it up.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So, Lori, when you hear staff say, if I give them that, they won't come back, what do you see?
Usually it's a highly preferred reinforcement that's being used without any structure. So it's Minecraft until we tell you to stop,
Yeah.
right? It's just something they really enjoy doing, which is good. And then I also see when the next task they're asking for is one of the worst things, which for a lot of our teachers, they report students being given a pencil and asked to write is the worst thing that any teacher can ask a student to do, whether you're 5 or 18, apparently.
Yeah.
So it's usually a very less preferred task. Also, what I've noticed is it's also when the student needs to give the activity to the staff member instead of having a place for it to go. So if it's an iPad doing some activity on the iPad, the staff member is kind of insisting that it goes in their hand, so they have
Yeah.
to give it to somebody instead of having a place, which is different to a student, right? It's different to all humans. If I
Yeah.
hand you something or if I put it away, that's two different things, right?
Yeah, and it's teaching them some independence,
Right.
too.
Then we'll
Yeah.
see power struggles at that point.
Yeah.
We've seen, tug of wars over iPads that I just think, wow, that's not helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one of you is going to get hurt.
Somebody is, yeah, pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Or somebody's going to give up, and it'll be the staff member.
Yeah.
And the student will get more iPad time.
Yes.
So what are some things we can do to combat this?
We can structure our reinforcement, and there's a couple different ways in which we can structure it. Make sure you have timers, giving time warnings to students, like if they have 1 minute left on the iPad, giving them that time warning so that they're starting to prepare for that. Structuring it, you kind of mentioned going to a non-preferred task.
Yes.
So I might not have that reinforcement as an option if the next activity is going to be something that's very highly unpreferred. Maybe I might have the highly preferred reinforcements only available at the end of the day. So if you get this many points on your tracker, you can have 10 minutes of Minecraft. I don't know, whatever the reinforcement is for that student.
That seems to be a big one, though.
Minecraft.
10 minutes of Minecraft is like gold.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. 5 minutes is not enough.
No, 10.
10.
Gold.
Because
Absolute
it
gold.
takes like 3 minutes for it to load.
Yes.
So, yeah. Let's see. Setting up expectations as well and reviewing those with the student beforehand. So if it is iPad, telling them where the iPad goes, when it's done. You can even practice that routine with them. So setting up a timer. We'll ring the timer, show me what to do when the timer goes off, and kind of practicing that with them until it becomes, what's the word I'm looking for?
Part of the routine, right? It's
Yeah,
very
part of the
routine.
routine. It just becomes like second nature. Yeah, and some of you guys have level systems that you use with your students. Level systems are great because you can also structure reinforcement in that way. So if it is something that's highly reinforcing, I might have that be something that they can only earn on the top level. That way the student is also more motivated to be on those top levels.
Yeah, absolutely.
What if it's something that is highly preferred? Is there a way that we can still use that reinforcement in a less reinforcing way to the student?
I don't know if it's a less reinforcing as much as it might just be taking, like you talked about, structuring, getting to that point. So maybe earlier in the day the student is learning some of the other things they enjoy, like coloring, doing blocks, fidgets, any of those kinds of things, and then offer multiple small goals and rewards. So the bigger ticket, right? The Minecraft is, or time with a peer staff. That's kind of a bigger thing that they understand. I have to hit these smaller things first to get there, which is kind of part of the level system
Yeah.
idea. I think structuring is so critical. And structuring with a plan in mind. So here's what I saw in a classroom just 2 weeks ago. They structured the time that the student has on the computer. He'd earned the free time at the end of class. He even continued it as he walked back into the next class as a junior high student. So he's still on the computer finishing this up even though the time is done. And the staff are kind of almost nagging at this point. Your time's up. You need to close it down. Need to close it down. And he did it. And then they just used, the teacher magic where you can shut a student's computer
Yeah.
down without warning him. without telling him that that's going to happen. So the student became quite escalated. So we talked about structuring with a timer, giving him 2 prompts, and then at the 3rd prompt, letting him know that you have 15 seconds or the computer will not be available. Don't even say the computer's going to shut down, because that sounds kind of mean.
Yeah.
But it won't be available. The teacher emailed me a couple days later and said that was much more effective. They didn't get the big meltdown because they had structured it and practiced with him. They let him know.
Yeah.
So it's not a surprise.
Yeah.
Right?
And you prevent that big behavior.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Definitely. Any other thoughts on relinquishing reinforcement?
Well, let's take the example of Minecraft, just because that is a
Gold.
big reinforcement. There are other ways in which we can still use Minecraft, but we're not using the game exactly. So sometimes students have been reinforced by coloring Minecraft pages, or if you guys have heard of Paper Minecraft, that's where students get to build their own Minecraft community with paper.
They print them out and they can they can color it and then fold the little block up. It's pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, and then they can save it to keep adding into their world, and you can use that as a reinforcement too. So finding different ways in which you can use that same kind of reinforcement in a different way.
Yeah. Make it not as difficult to relinquish.
Yes. Stickers
Yes.
are great too.
Stickers are still exciting.
Well, students want them on their water bottles.
That is what I found out.
Yeah.
I found out a high school teacher was using stickers as a reinforcement every time students got their, it was like an AP teacher, got their big
Yeah.
essays done, and I was like, so that works? And my kid was like, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want the sticker. So it's kind of amazing. All right, well, we've come to the end of our next episode, and thank you for tuning in to this episode of Bait Debate. Again, we're so excited to share behavior strategies. Relinquishing reinforcement is one of those tough topics. There are lots of ways to problem solve it. Don't give up. We hope the information presented today was meaningful, and we have lots more exciting topics that we will be covering throughout the school year to keep you reeled in. Also, keep your educator friends tuned in, and be sure to like and share on Insta and TikTok. I heard it's Insta. Working on that. So catch you next time.